Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 57 of Crime in Court USA. I'm recording this on April 25th, 2024. I'm your host, Mundo Carrillo. I hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, sorry this is a day late, but wasn't feeling like 100 yesterday, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I just thought I'd sleep on it and just hit you guys with something today. So, it finally happened, guys. The Trump trial's opening statements, his first criminal trial, that is, finally got underway with opening statements on Monday. This is for the one where he's charged with 34 counts of falsifying business records for covering up a payment he allegedly made to a porn star to cover up an affair he had to protect himself from any kind of negative press or any kind of negative stories during the 2016 election. All right? And he faces up to 4 years in prison or just some probation time. We shall see. It's not looking very good for Trump. We'll get into this. We haven't heard too much testimony yet. Anyhow, this prosecutor, he comes in, Matthew Colangelo, comes in and says during his opening statements that Trump directed his allies to keep people quiet during his presidential campaign. And those witnesses, or those people that he paid to keep quiet, were a porn star, Stormy Daniels, a former Playboy model, Karen McDougal, and a doorman at one of Trump's buildings. A lot of people have a lot of good stories, you know? That's right. So he was paying these people, or these people were paid for their silence, apparently. But it was this one payment, that's $130,000 to Stormy Daniels, paid by former lawyer Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer Michael Cohen. This is where the heart of these charges are, right? Because these are apparently the ones that were covered up, right? They made it look like it was some kind of random or the routine legal expenses on the Trump's on his company books. Instead of saying hush money payment to to porn star, they said legal expenses. The state of New York called foul on that, said nope, that's a lie. You're doing this you're lying, basically. You're falsifying records, and it's an interesting one because it's an attempt to I guess they're arguing it's an attempt to really to win the election, to influence the election, but that's not the criminal charge at heart. He is charged with interfering with the 2020 election. He has yet to face trial for that. But really, this is really all about falsifying business records, even though it does involve the 2016 election. All right? So that kind of gets a little confusing, but this is all about business records. At the end of the day, we're going to hear a lot about cover-ups and things like that. So, yes, that's the heart of the charges. Now, this guy, Colangelo, he was saying that there was a conspiracy. He called it the Trump Tower Conspiracy. That's where Michael Cohen, Donald Trump, and what's this guy's name? David Pecker? Yes, David Pecker. He was the former publisher of the National Enquirer. So they all get into this room, I guess. So they have a meeting at Trump's Manhattan headquarters in 2015, not long after he announced that he was running for president. And they come up with this scheme, I guess, to track down negative stories about Trump and shoot them down, bury them, make sure they never see the light of day. I don't know how you do that. That seems like, how do you do that? Like, really suppress negative news? You're not going to do that. I mean, they did buy off Karen McDougal, so I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's move on. So they come up with this plan. Now, Pecker was the one, I guess, who was in charge of making sure that these payments were made, or that the silence was bought, I shall say. So he was able to successfully do it with the doorman. He's a doorman. I'm sure he'll take about $130,000 to $150,000. I'm not sure what the exact amount was, but I'm sure it was something like that, because Karen McDougal then was paid $150,000 by Pecker to cover up her affair with Trump while he was married to Melania. So far so good. Everyone's quiet. Nothing illegal so far, because, again, not really facing anything for these two. It's for Stormy Daniels. But this is funny. Pecker was testified today saying that Trump wouldn't reimburse him for these payments. And he was like, who's going to pay me for this? And that Michael Cohen told him that it will be the boss. According to Pecker, his testimony, he said, quote unquote, the boss will take care of it, meaning Trump, of course. He didn't do it, I guess, so Pecker suggested that Cohen pay off Stormy Daniels, which Cohen then did do. And then they all kind of got caught. Cohen pled guilty to a federal crime. So he did some time. He did did the old flipperoo. So there you go. A lot of blame is actually put on Michael Cohen. Todd Blanche, who is Trump's lawyer in this case, came out in his opening statement saying that Cohen put all the blame on him, that Trump had no idea what was really going on with his money. That he gave Cohen the money to do stuff, and Cohen's not, Cohen's the one who did the deed, as it were. Trump was innocent. He was ignorant, in fact, about all this. Okay, and there's nothing illegal, by the way, Blanche said, about influencing an election, right? So that's him defending his client there, making him look ignorant, telling the jury to use their common sense. By the way, defense attorneys in both their opening and closing statements, they always or not always, but they often tell the jury to use common sense. Like, use your common sense. That's like a pretty, I guess, tried and true thing to say to a jury. Like, come on. Use your head. Come on. So anyhow, Pecker, he would practice what he's saying. I mean, we all know the Inquirer's like garbage or whatever. Sorry, but it is. Obviously. I mean, look, this guy's buying stories. So what he did, I guess, was he went to McDougal, said, I'll buy your story for $150,000. And he just never published it. Catch and kill journalism, or catch and kill whatever. I don't want to even call it journalism, is what this is called. Also checkbook journalism, or I don't know, catch and kill, checkbook journalism, all the same, right? So this is what he would do, just openly. Like, yeah, I would buy stories from people and then bury them. But he didn't really do that, because we all know about McDougal and the door guy, Stormy Daniels. That didn't work at all, allegedly. So testimony will continue. I think this is supposed to last about 6 weeks. Nothing crazy has come out. It's just we've so far only had Pecker on the stand, and I'm not entirely sure who's next. But this will drag out for a while. It's a white collar crime. It's a lot of like documents and paperwork and bleh. So I'm sure it's not going to be covered too extensively during that 6 week period, unless like something crazy, like someone said something fucking crazy, like if Stormy or Karen or even the doorman, like any of those people testify, that'll be good shit. But if it's just like, I don't know, someone boring, I have no idea, like some kind of financial analyst or somebody, some kind of expert, it'll be boring. So this might not be the most salacious trial. Well, it is, because it involves affairs. So it is that's like the definition of salacious. So this is someone who's running for president, man. This is crazy. This is nuts. He's also 77 years old. Just thought I would throw that out there. He seems to fall asleep in court. So this also came out today. So he is facing a charge or he has a criminal case for interfering with the 2020 election. You guys remember him sort of telling people to run up on the Capitol and all that. Well, the Supreme Court today, they heard arguments over why he has presidential immunity, so he could do whatever he wants, and as long as he's acting within his duties as president. In this case, he was protecting democracy by claiming that the election had been stolen, even though he was doing quite the opposite. If you ask me, in my humble opinion, damaging democracy. Anyhow, so they heard arguments today for several hours. They seem, from the media reports that I briefly read, like I said, this barely came out, so I didn't really dig into it. I might dig into it more for next week. But they're more inclined to give him limited immunity, saying that yes, he does have immunity when he's doing presidential shit, but when he's doing stuff for personal gain, he's not immune. This is like both. Like, he could argue he was trying to protect democracy by trying to protect the election that he rightfully won, I guess. But you could also be like, well, it was also like in your personal interest to try to retain that power that you clearly lost. You lost that election. Anyhow, that is where that sits. So they haven't issued a ruling. This seems to be just how the kind of questions they're asking and things like that. This is, I guess, where they're leading. There is a majority, 6-3. He helped build that majority, by the way, Trump. Very, very slick. Very slick of him. So now that court is a 6-3 conservative majority until they all start dying again. That's the only way to get them out of there. Well, they do retire sometimes, though, I guess. The fuck am I even talking about anymore? I don't know. think I'm going to get out of here, guys. Really appreciate you listening. Thank you to the Patreon supporters, Daniel, Tony, Mike, Andres, and Emily. Really appreciate you guys. If you guys want to support me, head to patreon.com/crimeandcourtusa, where you can get exclusive content for just $1 a month. All right, guys. Until next time, my name's Mundo, and I'm out. Peace.